Me and My Son, Chapter 1.
Daddy, I don't want to go to school.
What a bright sunny morning. I went to Jill's bedroom to wake him up for school. Jill darling, wake up baby, time to get ready for school. Jill tossed and turned in bed, and hid himself in his little warm blanket. Oh come up, dear. We don't want to be late again. Jill looked up at me and said in a sleepy voice,
Daddy, I don't want to go to school.
Really? But why my dear, don't you want to be a successful man when you grow up just like daddy?
I do, but I still don't want to go to school.
With that, Jill hid his face back in the blanket. This was kind of a daily routine we were going through. Jill's school was recently changed as we moved from one city to another. He loved his old school, but he was finding it really difficult to settle down in this new one. I didn't feel like forcing him, and I did let him sleep. But I need to talk with my son heart to heart, so I can know what is bothering him. By 10 a.m., Jill woke up, and we had a wonderful healthy breakfast, scrambled eggs with her chocolate milk. Yummy, isn't it? Hey, Jill, as you didn't go to school today, how would you like to spend the rest of your day? I asked Jill.
Daddy, can you please take me to the park and play soccer with me?
Oh, that's great, I exclaimed. We should. But do you want to call any of your friends to go along with you? Jill called his two friends, but their moms told that their kids were in school, and asked Jill if he was feeling okay, because he didn't go to school, and today for some maths assessment test. Jill felt a little uncomfortable and held up. We changed into our comfy dresses, packed up some snacks and our football, and headed towards our car. It was a fun trip. We had our first round of soccer, and sat on a bench for a break. I felt Jill's mood is better to talk. Jill, why do you always become lazy nowadays to go to school? Jill looked fed up by my question and said,
Dad, I don't feel like going to this new school. I have no friends here. I miss my old school friends. Now as I don't have friends, I feel studying so hard and boring. And lastly, I feel so annoyed by all this, that I don't feel waking up early to go to school.
As Jill was telling all this, a nearby sweeper who was sweeping the jogging track was listening to all this. He came to us and said,
Oh little boy, can I sit beside you and your daddy?
Jill let him join us.
I see you coming here regularly. Do you study in this nearby school?
He asked. Jill nodded.
Did you also go to the same school?
Jill asked.
Who? Me? It's a sad story, little boy. Had I gone to school, I would not have been here doing this job. I wasted those important years of my life. And I skipped school, and years later, no one gave me a job because I was uneducated. So I had no option than to do this work. I barely get enough money to feed and support my family.
Soon, a gardener, Peter, who was watering the plants, came to us. He asked the sweeper Jack,
What are you doing here?
Nothing. Just telling this little boy how I didn't go to school and it ruined my life. The gardener felt sad, and said,
Oh little boy. Do you know, I was so fond of studying. But my father didn't earn much to afford the fees of my schooling. So I had to leave my education, when I was in 5th grade. I also didn't study properly, because I couldn't study, and here I landed becoming a gardener.
Jill had been listening to the stories of Jack and Peter, and was really moved. Soon when the gardener left, Jill asked me,
if we can have a second round of soccer before going back to home.
As we were playing, our football accidentally landed near an old lady sitting and enjoying the warm sunlight. Jill came close to her to get the ball.
Oh, young man? Enjoying the holiday?
She asked.
No, I didn't go to school today.
Jill replied.
May I ask why?
The lady seemed interested to know.
I just didn't feel like going to school.
Jill sat next to her while she listened to Jill's problems.
Did you hear the story of Jack, who was just lazy to go to school, and failed in life? And Peter, who wanted to study but couldn't afford his studies, because his father was a poor man. You are one lucky boy to have a father, who can educate you and pay your fees. You go to the best school in the town. Do you want to be like them?
This was a scary question for him. Maybe the stories of Peter and Jack deeply moved Jill, or maybe the old granny made Jill understand the importance of education in a heartfelt way. We finished our last round of soccer, and sat in the car to come home. Jill didn't say much in the car. The next morning, I woke up by a slight pat on my shoulder. I turned around and saw Jill all dressed up in his uniform.
Dad, you are still sleeping. Get up. I don't want to be late from school.
What a surprise. I hugged Jill. You made out so proud of you, Jill. I love you. Give me a minute and I'll drop you to school. Jill in a happy mood to school. Ever since then, Jill has never missed school, and has been even awarded as one of the most punctual child in the school.